think Rachel Zegler probably wants this too. I think Rachel Zegler, she probably wants people to forget about this movie. She wants people to forget this entire experience. She would probably appreciate Disney just making this movie go away.
This wasn't just a movie flop, it was a public implosion. Rachel Zegler went from Hollywood's rising star to the face of Disney's most hated remake. And the fallout? It's still happening. Theater chains are pulling the movie, fans are roasting it online, retailers are slashing prices on merch like it's radioactive. But how did one film derail everything? And who's really to blame? Let's start with the vanishing act. Across the country, Snow White showings quietly disappeared from theater schedules. No press release, no grand announcement, just gone. Chains that once boasted about the film were now dropping it like dead weight. Some cited painfully low attendance. Others pointed to outright confusion from audiences. And in retail, Snow White-themed toys, costumes, and books started vanishing from shelves. Some stores discounted them by up to 80% just to move the stock. But this wasn't just a commercial failure. Online, the conversation turned venomous. Photos of empty theaters flooded social media. Captions like, "7 dwarfs, 7 tickets sold" went viral. Meme accounts lit up. Hashtag Snow White flop trended for days. Fans weren't just ignoring the movie, they were actively rejecting it. And right at the center of the chaos, Rachel Zegler. Once hailed as a fresh, talented breakout star from West Side Story, she was now being labeled as the face of Disney's biggest embarrassment in years. Why? One interview? One moment. That's all it took to start the fire. In an early press junket, instead of honoring the legacy of the 1937 classic, Zegler dismissed it.
It is over for Rachel Zegler. Her career is done. She will be lucky if she makes it on a direct-to-DVD Steven Seagal movie at this point.
She called the prince a stalker, implied the love story was outdated, and declared Snow White would now be a feminist leader who doesn't need a man. But it wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Cold, detached, almost arrogant. Then came the viral clip. Zegler saying she should be paid for every hour she had to wear the Snow White dress. Not just for filming, but for press appearances too. That comment spread like wildfire. Critics called her entitled. Fans said she was ungrateful. And even those on the fence started questioning her attitude. One line summed up the mood. If you hate the role so much, why take it? That wasn't just a comment. It became a rallying cry. And Disney, they weren't ready for any of this. Insiders said PR teams went into full crisis mode. Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, was reportedly furious. Internally, employees began calling the movie Snow Wrong. The nickname stuck. Morale plummeted. Emergency meetings were held. And as the backlash grew, so did the panic. Worse yet, multiple early test screenings had shown red flags. Audiences felt confused, disconnected. But Disney pressed forward, thinking the marketing machine could spin it into gold. Spoiler, it didn't.
The controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars. Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first I'm hearing of this.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
Well,
So what did audiences actually get? Not the beloved classic. Instead of dwarfs, there were magical forest creatures. Prince Charming? Gone. Romantic storyline? Cut. All to be more modern. But what viewers saw wasn't empowerment. It was a checklist. A CGI-heavy Frankenstein of a fairy tale filled with awkward messaging and lecture-style dialogue. Critics panned it. Fans mocked it. And the dwarf acting community? Furious. Disney claimed removing the 7 dwarfs was about being sensitive, but it backfired. Hard. Actors with dwarfism said they'd been robbed of rare roles. We just want to work, some said. 7 roles, 7 chances. Gone. And Snow White herself? A total rebrand. No more kindness or optimism, no singing to birds, no joy, just speeches about leadership, wage equality, and independence. Noble goals, sure, but in a fairy tale, audiences said it felt forced, like a boardroom decided what empowerment looked like and shoved it into a costume. That brings us back to Zegler. She didn't just misstep, She doubled down. She liked tweets defending her, retweeted fans praising her bluntness, never apologized, never softened. Industry whispers said Disney regretted casting her. Meanwhile, fans launched boycott campaigns. They weren't just mad, they felt betrayed. Snow White's IMDb score? A brutal 1.6 out of 10. That's not a flop, that's a disaster.
I mean, they're projected to lose between 2 and 400 million on this.
It's over. It's a wrap. Because her entire career rested on this Snow White movie being a success, and it ain't looking good.
One tweet said it looked like a high school play directed by ChatGPT on a caffeine crash. Ouch. Then came the merchandise collapse. Retailers quietly pulled Snow White products. Parents weren't buying, kids weren't asking, collectors weren't interested. The brand had become toxic. Some stores even began hiding the products in back rooms just to avoid angry customer comments. Theaters kept slashing showings. Disney's financial losses climbed. Rumors of deleted scenes and internal legal panic spread. PR insiders reportedly worked in shifts just to keep up with the daily blowback. One insider called it a controlled fire that became a wildfire. Behind the scenes, Zegler was said to be shaken. Publicly, she clapped back. She said critics were outdated and sexist. She ignored calls to clarify her statements. Some sources say Disney asked her to stop talking. Others say she refused. And every time she spoke, things got worse. So now we're here. A $250 million disaster. A film that was supposed to celebrate Disney's origins ended up torching its legacy. And Zegler, she's at a career crossroads. Reinvention or retreat. That's the choice. But one thing is clear, the damage is done. This wasn't just a bad movie. It was a cultural implosion, a case study in how not to modernize a classic, a masterclass in marketing misfires, tone-deaf messaging, and what happens when studios ignore their audience. And if you think the drama is over, think again. Rumors of more leaks, legal infighting, and a growing divide within Disney's own ranks. This fairy tale didn't just end badly, it never had a chance. And we're still watching the story unravel, scene by scene.